Hello everyone, today I'm going to be giving some tips on algorithm memorization for any cube really. And I know as a beginner that, especially for OLL and PLL, they can be very intimidating with the number of algorithms there are. Just the sheer amount, it can be very discouraging if you want to get faster. And so I'm going to give some tips on how to memorize algorithms. I'm not going to go over how to get faster or whatever, and like the steps to learning, like first learn 2 look then 1 look. You can check out my How to Become a Speed Cuber series for that. I'm just going to be focusing on the pure memorization aspect of it and tips for memorizing. And these are things that I've seen and have done, and from experience what I think is the best. So the first thing is, if you're learning a set of algorithms, like you're learning PLL or something, I'd say maximum of 2 a day, no more, especially for PLL since they're longer. So when I learned PLL, I tried to learn pretty much all of them at once. Like, I'd kind of remember the first one, so I then move on to the second one when I hadn't fully memorized the first one. And by doing that, I knew like kind of all of them, but I never could really remember all of one. So it took me a whole summer of a lot of work just trying to memorize PLL. And then for OLL, I'm like, alright, I'm gonna take it really slow. And I learned max of 2 a day, 1 or 2 a day for not too long, maybe 1.5, 2 months, and I was finished by then, and I actually knew all of them just fine, and I had no trouble with memorization. So definitely no more than 1 or 2 a day. Now in the actual memorization of the algorithm, first thing is, do not memorize the letters, memorize the moves, because if you memorize a letter, first of all, it's kind of hard because it's just a jumble of letters, which is an algorithm. And if you memorize moves, you don't have to translate, like R is move this layer like this, right? So that makes it a little easier. Also, when you're learning an algorithm, look out for the places where pairs are moving around, especially for OLL and PLL, or just how pieces move around the cube. Anything that stands out to you. I'll show an example here of just how I like to look at this algorithm. Now I know it just by muscle memory because I've done it so many times, but how I learned it, I'll show you. So the first thing is, the first 2 moves move out this back pair, and then I just go the other direction with this. So you can pick out patterns because it's down 2 and then up 2, which moves this pair back towards the back. And this is a pair I just look at a lot because it's just right there, and it stands out to me, so that's why I look at it and see what happens. So you can kind of memorize it that way. So then I bring it down, and then I use the RU prime U prime trigger, which is another thing. Look out for triggers, because that'll save you a good 4 moves of memorization. If you just remember, do these moves and then do a trigger. Alright, so then it's that trigger, and then I reform the pair, bring it up, and solving the bottom layer, and then it's just 1 move of alignment, which at that point, the last like 3 moves, it's pretty easy to figure out just logically. So that really cuts down on moves. Also triggers, so you can have like I don't know, if you had like a 12 move algorithm, that's just a random number, and then you had a trigger that really takes out 4 moves, and then like you can figure out the last 2 moves, so then you have really only 6 moves to memorize, because there's a trigger, and then you can just kind of figure out the last ones. So it's not as hard as it seems. Just take it slow and look for things that stand out to you in the actual algorithm. So when you're doing the algorithm, take it a move at a time and watch things move around the cube, because that really helps with the memorization. So these are things that I've learned from my own experience, and I definitely know what works and what doesn't, especially when I learned PLL. That was a big waste of time. So I'd just like to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.